cool to get a gauge of what it feels like with resistance and obviously weight as well. Is behind the scenes of what it would have been like if I was to do the HYROX workout live. I may look pretty content, but my boy Gerald, triple tap Gerald.
So my bad, I thought he was still running, doing his laps, so I really apologize.
So Gerald missed out on the actual stations, which is alright, because I asked one of the guys there, said look, my mate had one job, accidents happen, the guys were nice enough to let me simulate what it would have been like in the actual event, in the moment, in the heat. So I made it look pretty content.
Yes.
There was obviously no one else around me. That's it guys. Death by wallboards. I was about 20% of the way and I legitimately was like, I can't do it. It's fucked. So exhausting. First time doing 100 wallboards after an entire workout. That was the biggest struggle before. I was finishing off strong with the back end. Mentally it felt good. I knew the wallboards was going to be the hardest part. Oh man. I honestly didn't think I was going to finish. I was on the verge of saying, nah, it's here, I'm giving it up, but I came all this way. For what? For no reason. I told myself the whole point of being here was to stand up for the next race. And although it took me a slow down forward, especially at the very end, I'm proud that I got it done. Some tweaks that I need to make for the next round, that I do the HYROX, but overall, I completed it, and that was goal number one. So thank you guys for following along. I don't know if you can hear me. I'm exhausted. I'll probably do a proper recap afterwards. It's probably a bit too loud. But thanks guys for sticking around, and I'll see you in the next clip.
So guys, we have secured the badge, the HYROX Brisbane badge. It has unfortunately come to an end. However, before we, I guess, leave this series to bed, I thought it'd be a great opportunity to give you guys a bit of a recap based on how yesterday went. So it is the next day. My body's actually surprisingly feeling pretty good. I am a bit fatigued, but not overly sore, which is good. We just went out to go get some breakfast, got a juice, so my body's pretty fresh considering. But nonetheless, I want to speak about a recap of my splits of how everything went. I'm not going to go too into depth with it all, but I thought I'd just give you a bit of a recap with how everything went. So, first of all, before I started the event, I'm going to try and keep this as PG as possible. However, I think I experimented with too much supplementation. I have experimented with each of these supplements individually, but as a concoction, I haven't, and with the dosage that I used, no, I have not. So I didn't really feel the best. I went to the bathroom 20 minutes before the event, and then 10 minutes before the event I was pretty much in there right until the event almost started. It wasn't the right protocol that I would have liked to take. However, during the event, the first lap that I did was 2 minutes and 17 seconds. It isn't a full kilometer, it's probably about 3/4 of a kilometer. If I can find out the distances, I'll let you know. Ski erg was 4 minutes and 8 seconds, but I was averaging around 1 minute 56 whilst actually on the station. There is a timing chip on our ankle, so pretty much once we enter and exit different zones, it will tell us what our splits are. This is the reason why I know these splits. However, like as soon as I got on and off the ski erg, I was averaging around 1 minute and 57 per 500 meter pace. Run 2, 4 minutes and 17 seconds. The 50 meter sled push was 3 minutes and 41 seconds. Run 3 was 5 minutes and 9 seconds. The 50 meter sled pull was 5 minutes and 42 seconds. Now, run 4, 5 minutes and 20 seconds, and the 80 meter burpee broad jumps was 4 minutes and 32 seconds. Now, at this time in the race, we were about halfway through, I wasn't feeling the best again. So I had to ask the judges what happens regarding going to the bathrooms. Can we go to the bathroom? Is there any penalty when we're going to the bathroom as well? And they pretty much said, hey, you can go to the bathroom, just make sure that you don't trip off the trigger regarding the route. If you get off the route, it'll trigger it and you'll get a penalty. They essentially said your penalty will be, I guess, the time that it takes for you to enter and exit the bathroom and get back in course. So right after the burpee broad jumps, I went to the bathroom again. That's why my run was 7 minutes and 21 seconds. So it was about, I was probably in the bathroom for about 2.5 minutes. But after that, I felt fresh, I felt good again. I did a 1,000 meter row for 4 minutes and 48 seconds, and that was averaging around, when I was on the actual rower, about a 2 minute per 500 meter pace. Run 6, 4 minutes, 51 seconds. And then we had 200 meter farmer carries, which was 2 minutes and 17 seconds. So I was happy with the farmer carries. I did 200 meters unbroken with, I think it was 32 kilos. I didn't run it, but it was a very fast walk. Run 7, 5 minutes and 5 seconds. And the 100 meter lunges took 6 minutes and 8 seconds. That is slower than I would have liked. I was experiencing cramping on my right hamstring probably around the 17 meter mark, so I had about 30 meters to go. So I started experiencing cramping along there. Run 8, 5 minutes and 25 seconds. And to finish off with the 100 wall balls, it took me 8 minutes and 37 seconds. Now these wall balls, they were the death of me. I was so exhausted by the time we came up to that that functional exercise. I think I was doing about every 8 to 10 reps. I had to drop the wall board down and catch my breath for about 20 seconds. It was definitely my hardest station. It was definitely my slowest station, the wall boards. It's an area that I would love to pick up on. But yeah, 8 minutes and 37 seconds. I honestly, at this one point, was like, I cannot do this. I am so fatigued. But in saying that, regarding my time and my overall placing, so my overall placing for the men's pro, I came 195th out of, I don't even know how many people were competing in the event, which hopefully by the time you're watching this video, I know. And my finish time was 1 hour, 26 minutes and 58 seconds. So overall, I'm stoked with being able to finish, especially with how I felt pre-race and during the race. That includes obviously going to the bathroom, and areas I need to work on, in my opinion, would be the wall balls and probably the lunges as well. I'd love to chew off more time in that area and get down to, I guess, 1 hour and 20 by the time I get to Sydney in about 3-4 months, which we're going to speak about in a second. However, like overall, being only prepping for HYROX for 12 weeks, maybe just a bit more than that, and not doing any of these movements beforehand, I'm pretty proud of my efforts. It was a bit ballsy doing men's pros for my first HYROX event, as I said, because I've never done this style of workouts beforehand. But it was a true test, a true challenge, and Sydney is coming up in around, it's the first week of July, so around 3 to 4 months. So I'm super stoked for that. So there's a bit of an issue regarding events for this year. I realized a couple of weeks ago that Gold Coast Marathon and HYROX Sydney are on the exact same weekend, which sucks. I don't know what days, I know the marathon's on Sunday, I don't know which day the HYROX is on. I'm assuming it's on Saturday. Whether I do both, whether it's realistic to do both, I'm not too sure, to be honest. But if I was to choose one, it would most likely be the Sydney HYROX. So stay tuned for that. And I think that's pretty much it. This is a summary of my first ever series on YouTube, my first HYROX series that I've documented. I'm super excited to document a lot more events that I have coming throughout the year. Hopefully I'm getting better with documenting the content. I was blessed enough to have Gerald with me. He came along for the ride over the weekend, so it was nice of him to come out here, take some time out of his day and his weekend, and I guess help me document this journey for you guys and also for myself, so I've got something to look back on in the future. I'm going to leave this here. If you have any questions regarding, I guess, the entire series, or questions regarding what I did for the event and how I went, feel free to let me know below. Other than that, I think I'm just going to leave that there. So thank you for sticking around for the series. Cheers.